20 years after the High Court's Mabo decision, Indigenous people in Western Australia are bitterly divided over the state government's billion-dollar offer for the extinguishment of native title in the southwest. Those opposed to the deal say they're preparing a more concerted protest effort. David Webber reports.
What Aboriginal people want is economic opportunities, training, better housing, better education and health. But to do that through a welfare system clearly fails.
We'll still come back. We'll still come back. We'll be back. Doesn't matter. That doesn't matter because of that. We'll still get back.
This land is priceless, and we don't want to sell a priceless land that we've held for 50,000 years and sell it now. Why should we want to sell it?
Several months after clashes between police and protesters grabbed the headlines, the Southwest native title offer remains unresolved. On the eve of the 20th anniversary of Mabo, Nyoongar people are divided. Some protesters are still on Heirisson Island.
No, we're staying, we're not moving. If we lose this fight, we lose everything. And Aboriginal people need to know that. We lose this battle, if we pack up and go, then Aboriginal people can kiss everything goodbye.
The West Australian government wants Indigenous people to surrender their native title claims in return for $1 billion in benefits. This is one of the many meetings being held by the Southwest Aboriginal Land and Sea Council as part of the negotiation process.
You know, we have the opportunity now to put in place economic and social structures that will benefit future generations.
Things that we could never have through litigation, setting up a foundation to start managing, developing our programs that can resolve some of the issues that are, you know, very visual within the communities.
I think there needs to be a greater understanding out there with Nyoongar people about what the offer is, because there's a real lot of it to be unpacked.
But some Indigenous people are furious at those in favour of the deal.
I know certainly we don't want to give away my rights to this land, and my family rights who's had this from the start of the world through the Dreamtime spirits who give the land to us and entrusted us to look after it all those 40,000 or 50,000 years right through to now.
On this map of the southwest of the state, the yellow shows where extinguishment is claimed to have occurred already, due to freehold title. Under the deal, Indigenous people would have access and management rights in the areas marked out in black, which are state forests and reserves in Crown land.
There's a land estate, and we've identified several 100,000 hectares of land, and we're still working through that process. For transfer to Nyoongar people, for cultural outcomes, for social outcomes, for economic outcomes.
The former Aboriginal Affairs Minister in the Fraser government, Fred Chaney, says it's the best deal Nyoongar people can hope for.
The reality is that because we've taken all the good land and it's owned widely and other areas have been reserved for public purposes which can extinguish native title, despite the undoubted connection of the Nyoongar people to the southwest corner of Western Australia, a lot of native title would have been extinguished. So if they can get a more comprehensive recognition of their attachment to land, a more comprehensive involvement in land use matters in the southwest, that would be terrific.
But the Premier wants the federal government to help foot the bill. In the 1990s, the Keating government offered to pay 75% of negotiated native title deals, and this was backed up by the Howard government. The Premier wants the current government to stick to it.
It's a good thing to have marches across the Sydney Harbour Bridge, to have a formal apology. They are important, they are symbolic. But we're now at the stage where it's down to the nitty-gritty of actually recognising the role of Aboriginal people, granting land, granting money for economic independence and settling the claims.
Nyoongar people opposed to the billion-dollar trade-off say they're gaining support from around the country and around the world.
We're organising to get a tribal council here from the 14 tribes of the southwest.
They can kill us all if they like, but we're still the owners of this land, and let's keep it that way. I'll say that to all my people all over Australia, islanders and the people of the continent. Keep it that way. We'll share it with the others because that's the way that it is now, and that's the way that we will live our rest of our lives.
So no deal, basically?
No deal. No deal.